Hey, we're Ken Mode from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and these are our 5 touring tips to help you have a better, more organized time on the road.
Which is very important because that's what makes people fight and go broke.
And break up.
Number 1, depending on your money situation, which everyone's always trying to save money unless you're an idiot, we recommend bringing mats or investing in good mats for sleeping on floors potentially. We brought them since day 1, and it helps when you're at that level of not making enough money to get a hotel. You can crash at people's houses and sleep relatively comfortably. And as you progress up the ladder, we only ever shell out for 1 hotel room because we're not that kind of band where we can afford that. And hotels are super expensive, so we have nice mats so a couple of us can sleep on floors of hotels because we don't like sharing beds. And I think it's very important because sleep, we all know you don't get very much sleep on tour, so you got to try and maximize that as comfortably as possible. So we recommend you get tour mats and get them soon.
So that's tip number 1.
That's tip number 1.
Tip number 2, because we're dovetailing off of this one, pillows on tour. So when you're sleeping on mats or wherever, crashing with people, you bring your own pillow. And a good thing to do so you don't forget your pillow, which a lot of people do on tour, is get a silly or unique pillowcase. So I have, personally, my pillowcase is Spider-Man. It's red and blue and very goofy. And it's not because I love Spider-Man, it's because I love not losing my pillow.
And I have a vintage Super Mario and Zelda from
there we go.
The old NES from when I was a child.
So the tip is to not lose your pillow, and it really goes for anything that you're bringing on tour. Just have it very identifiable and unique. Because when we're staying in a hotel and I see my pillow, my stupid Spider-Man pillowcase, I go, don't forget that. All right, tip number 2.
Tip number 3, and by the way, my pillowcase has music notes all over it, so it's also really stupid. Tip number 3 is more of like an ideology, and my friend and I came up with it when we were traveling one time, and it's 3 rules in general when you're traveling with people. The first rule is don't fuck around. It can kind of, it's a blanket statement. The second rule is handle your shit. So that means don't forget stuff, don't be the one that's like, messy. And the third rule, and maybe most important, is have a good time.
Don't fuck around, handle your shit, have a good time. And they're
That's
vague
it.
enough that you can make that fit to whatever ideology you ascribe to.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, I guess that brings us to rule number 4. Rule number 4 is a lot to do with teardown and setup when it comes to the gear inside the venue, and that's having some semblance of responsibility and cognizance about who is doing what. It helps keep you organized, especially when you're playing shows with multiple bands and everything like that. There's a lot of gear going back and forth, and also there's multiple responsibilities going on within the venue. If there's too much left up to chance in terms of like, oh, I thought so-and-so was going to do that, that's when stuff starts falling between the cracks. People start getting mad at each other, that type of thing. You want to avoid that whenever you possibly can. And we have a lot of extra things we do that a lot of other bands don't do, but we know who is supposed to be doing them. So if you have somebody, cleaning up certain gear, having an order you do that in, just as organized as you can possibly get it and as assigned as you can possibly get it. It sounds a little much, but it will save you a lot of headaches and it will keep everyone very happy.
And to dovetail off of that, going into
Tip number 5.
Yeah, tip number 5. After you've packed everything away, actually actively packing it, the trailer or van, you want to try and do your Tetris as tightly as you possibly can because it keeps things from getting broken, both your trailer, your gear, nothing is rattling around that way. We recently upgraded to a bigger trailer because we got some extra gear, and we still try to get that thing as tight as possible so nothing gets broken, and you know where everything has its place within there, and it also helps you from losing any of your gear.
Going back to number 4 in a way, having somebody identifying your Tetris masters is very important, because if you are packing that trailer in a different way every night, you are doing no one any favors. You are taking an hour off of your sleep time. It's a potential disaster. Stuff can get damaged. So identifying who's got the best, again, responsibilities, positions, it's a huge thing.
Can you tell we're organized? 3/4 of us are accountants.